Do you need your Canadian permanent residency? And are you stuck trying to figure out what your next plan is? Well, today we've got a treat. We are interviewing Olena Weber from Weber Immigration. We have been peers and friends since before COVID, I think, or around then. And I've seen her help hundreds of students of ours, of clients of hers successfully. And I can say wholeheartedly that you can trust what she says. So we're going to ask her what the latest is in the world of Canadian immigration. And let's get started. So, Elena, would you like to say hi first?
Yes, well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm just super excited to unpack what Express Entry is going to present for us in 2026. It's been already a couple of days into the year, and we already had the huge roller coaster with Express Entry. So I think this year is going to be fun.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of comments and messages all about this. So let's get started. So, number one, what are the major changes coming to Express Entry in 2026?
Okay, so there are several major changes that are coming for Express Entry in 2026. So, number one, Canada introduces specific Express Entry draws for physicians. I know it's not
Hmm.
applicable to almost nobody except those who are working as physicians. But basically, if you have 1 year of work experience in Canada as a physician, then you're going to be drawn through Express Entry. So that's one big change. Another change, number two, is that we see that the government is giving us some information that there are going to be new categories for Express Entry. So we're looking into adding new categories, and there would be three categories. So number one, that would be leadership category. So that's actually the most exciting news because that's all the senior management. For example, like I've had a consultation a couple of weeks ago, and that was a senior manager of one of the major five banks in Canada, and he cannot apply for Express Entry or really for any PR pathway, and it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it that
Mhm.
senior management cannot secure their permanent residence. I'm sure our country needs their talent, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so that would be the second category. Sorry, the first category, leadership. The second category would be research and innovation. So think like scientists. And then
Mhm.
the third category would be security and defense. So that's military
Interesting.
personnel. You can only imagine, Maria, where the world is going if Canada is going to prioritize military for our talent,
Right.
right?
Well, definitely the physician one stands out to me. I have had lots of students who are physicians, or hopefully in the future this will open up to dentists. But I know a lot of people come to Canada and they're professionals in their own world back home, and they can't seem to work here in their profession. So hopefully that will change soon.
Yeah, so there are some steps Canada is taking into just transitioning health talent into Canadian workforce. But just to be clear, that this specific express entry category for physicians, it's already for those who are practicing physicians in Canada and
Okay.
have been already working for 1 year,
Okay.
which is, I'm sure, not a lot of those, right? Even though we actually currently have two doctors practicing physicians as clients that are applying through Express Entry. But I guess we will have even
Yeah.
more of those. Yeah.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. Number two, what would be the CRS score for express entry in 2026? Do you have any predictions on what that might be?
So it's always speculation, of course. Express entry scores. It can go literally either way. But one thing that we know that 2026 started with the biggest CEC
Hmm.
draw in the history.
What
So
was
in
that?
the history of Canadian immigration, that was the biggest CEC draw, and we had 511 points.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
now the question is that if it's going to go up or down, right? And we don't know. It can go either way. Honestly, it can be the way, knowing Canadian immigration and express entry, it can be the way that like this is the biggest draw and that's it. And we're pausing the draws for the next 3 months and the points will go up. Or they can keep drawing express entry candidates, CEC candidates specifically, and the
Mhm.
draws may go down, the points may go down. However, one thing that I would speculate on is that I personally don't see the points go lower than 500. I think
Okay.
best case scenario, we're going to see like low 500s. And kind of worst case scenario, we're going to go back to like 525, 535, around there. But the last kind of point I really want to make is that Canada announced that express entry is going to have in Canada focus for in Canada candidates.
Right.
So that gives us hope that the points will at least, be not 535, but like in a lower 500. So we're hoping for that.
So it sounds that regardless, candidates have to be prepared, have their profile open, have their documents up to date, and everything nice and tidy so that when the draw hits, they can get called.
Yes, 100%. And we actually have a situation right now with one of our clients. So he received invitation to apply in a recent 511 draw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he receives invitation. He didn't expect it because he didn't think that the points will go down so low.
Right.
And guess what happened? His IELTS results or CELPIP, one
It
of those,
expired.
expiring
Oh
in
no.
like 3 days after the
Mhm.
draw happened. He does not have things handled, prepared. He did not, despite, of course, our recommendation, he did not book his IELTS exam or CELPIP exam because, truthfully, he just didn't think that the draw will happen. He
Right.
just thought that, like, look, there is no rush because my CELPIP is going to expire, but there is no rush because I'm not going to be picked anyways. So I'm just going to book my CELPIP for like February, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Now he's in a big rush to do that exam,
Right.
and this could have been prevented. And I'm not blaming him by any means because truly that was unpredictable that the
Yeah.
points will go down so low. So I don't blame him that he was in no rush, but that is just the evidence that you really need to make sure that all of your documents prepared, especially employment documents, and that you have some length on your English test.
Yeah. They're
And
valid for 2 years. So
exactly.
that can go by really quickly. We're already in 2026.
Yeah, it's going by super quickly for a lot of
Yeah.
applicants, and of course, you need to make sure that those scores are maximized as well.
Exactly. We'll talk about that shortly. Next question, number 3. Which occupations will be targeted for express entry in 2026?
Okay, so this is also a bit of speculation. So basically, we have those occupations that I mentioned that are going to be added to the existing pot of occupations. But the existing pot of occupations, we're talking about health, trades, STEM, agri-food occupations, and then what else? What did I miss? Education. Education is actually a new one.
Hmm.
So the likelihood is that some of the existing ones going to be eliminated. So which ones will be eliminated again is a speculation, but we don't foresee health being eliminated. So health is
Of
definitely
course.
going to stick around. Health is always a priority for Canadian immigration. Education is probably going to stick around as well. It's a fresh new occupation set that was added in 2025. Most likely, if I had to guess, STEM probably doesn't have
Hmm.
a chance to stand. And then we'll see how things go. But trades and agri-food can be very much reduced
Okay.
because, believe it or not, but we're in a place where government doesn't prioritize trades anymore. And it's the first time we're seeing this trend, but
In
really
a
the
while, yeah.
yeah, in a really long while, even though in real life I'm sure we do need trades, but they just forecasting that probably, I don't know, we have enough. So I think if you're in STEM and trades, that is you need to keep an eye on it, and that's a little bit concerning. But if you're in health, education, agri-food, you should be okay. And then of course those new occupations like military, senior management, and scientists and researchers.
Fantastic. Let's move on to number 4. Now, everyone is talking about the TR to PR pathway in 2026. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's temporary residency to permanent residency pathway. Now, is that related to express entry?
So there is a lot of talk about this as well, and some people say that maybe that would be part of express entry, which is probably not the case. So probably TR to PR, new pathway that's going to be opened up. Hopefully, government promised us this, going to be opened up in 2026. That will probably not be related to express entry. Will be as a standalone public policy, most likely, and most likely that public policy will target about 30,000 workers who are in Canada. That is, we're guessing, that are located in more rural areas and that
Okay,
are working in specific occupations. So most likely TR to PR will really not have much impact on express entry.
interesting. And final question, what do you think immigrants should be doing to increase their chances for express entry in 2026?
So number one, it's really the language. So if previously, I've been practicing for 10 years now, and if previously I always said that language is number one thing that you need to focus on. If you have your IELTS or your CELPIP or your PTE, then, like you have a green flag to go to a PR, like you're going to get your invite. Nowadays, having maximized IELTS and having maximized CELPIP or PTE is a must. And
Mm,
additionally to this, you also need to have all the other things like foreign work experience, like or occupation in demand, or all the other things, right? So if previously we talked about English and like those tests as a kind of like a high bar,
mhm.
now is
It's unnecessary.
it's a necessary, it's a must. So having that, like we don't even have the clients that don't have maximum CELPIP or maximum
Yeah,
IELTS because simply otherwise it's really hard to score points, right?
yeah.
For express entry. So that is super important. That is a must. And then other than that, you do need to keep yourself updated right now as frequently as possible. So I would suggest having your immigration situation reassessed at least every 6 months. Put it in your calendar,
That's
put
a
a
good tip.
reminder. Yeah, every 6 months, if you have to, reassess it yourself, just like take a weekend off and, go look into the news, see where you're at, what changed, what occupations added, all of that kind of stuff. Or if you need to book a consultation with a professional, whatever it takes, have it reassessed every 6 months. And then yeah, like just stay on top of those changes because you might need to pivot fast. For example, a lot of people right now are actually choosing to go back home to gain 1 year of foreign work experience because once they do that, then they will have high points to apply for express entry.
Wow.
So going back home, it can be actually a very good strategy. Not for everyone, and of course, we're trying. That's a last resort option. We're trying to really keep our clients in Canada, but still, those strategies they need to be considered.
Yeah, and going back to the language part, that is one of the last controllable factors, I'd say. Because, I mean, having to reroute your life, go back to your country, then come back is a lot more work. But if you put the effort into, and I honor that it is effort, to improving your language skills, whether it's English or French or English and French, that is something that you can do while you're in the country. And again, we can't change our age, we can't go back in time, but improving your language proficiency is, I would say, the most important thing, not just for your express entry or your TR to PR, but for life, for your everyday confidence and communication skills. So,
Yeah, 100%.
are there any other tips that you'd like to leave for our communities, Olena, before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I just want to say that, right now, having permanent residence in Canada and getting a chance to apply is truly a privilege, I would say. It's not easy, it requires a lot of effort. So, when you will get that chance, and I know you will, and I know you will get
Mm-hmm.
invited, when you get to that point, please make sure you do it properly because it breaks my heart to see when people submit documents that are just not according to immigration requirements and they get refused, and then they lose the chance, and then they may never receive invitation to apply. Honestly, sometimes never again. So make sure
So
that
what does that
all
mean? Is it like the image quality? Obviously, we're not even talking about falsified documents because we don't work with that.
yeah.
But in terms of quality, like how what kind of things should people be doing to make sure that everything goes smoothly for their documentation?
So the biggest one, I would say, like, of course, there are like 1 million things that can really go wrong, but the
Mm.
biggest one, I would say, it's employment documents. So number one reason for refusal is incorrect employment letter from your past experiences. Right now, a lot of people got invitations to apply. They're emailing us like, look, I have like 5 work experiences or even 3 or 2 work experiences, and I don't know if my employers would be willing to provide employment letters. I don't know if I have the documents. I don't have pay stubs. I don't have taxes. I was paid
Mhm.
in cash. I would like, there are all these things that start coming up, and they start to think about it only now when it's
Too
like,
late.
oh yes. But so I would say is that, like, if you are an express entry pool, just get your employment letters and like your employment documentation done, like those packages done correctly right now before even you get invited. And that's all about, format, what should be mentioned in employment letter, what pay stubs do you need, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, as you can see, Olena is the person you want to contact, or Corey as well, her business partner and spouse, who would be more than happy to help you get your permanent residency in Canada the right way. So let me know if you have any other questions. I can forward them to Olena, or you can find her at Weber Immigration. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you.